this sustainable agriculture. We are working on it. We have with us Professor Dr. Monica Kundu. She is a senior scientist in agricultural physics at IARI New Delhi, Indian Agricultural Research Institute. She is MSc in physics from Delhi University, Miranda House, PhD from NPL in electrochemical and optical biosensing techniques for agricultural applications. She has more than 15 years of experience in teaching and research. She has also worked as lecturer in physics and technical education department, Haryana, for about 5 years. She is presently involved in research, teaching, and extension activities. Her focus area of research is nanotechnology, nanosensors, food quality and safety assessment, agricultural physics, etc. She is also guiding undergraduates and postgraduate students at IARI. Thank you very much, ma'am, for accepting our request on this very short duration of time to deliver a lecture on this national platform. We are having large number of national as well as international participants. Certainly, this topic will be very important for the sustainable point of view because all the technologies, all the sciences all over the globe are working on this sustainable talk. So, ma'am, I would like to request you to kindly take over. And after this presentation, we will make this presentation available, the video recording on our website as well as social media platforms. And the presentation will also be shared with all the participants with your kind permission. Thank you, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am, please. Thank you, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am, please. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Respected Director, sir, Legal Metrology, Government of India, Dr. Ashutosh Agarwal, sir, and also the convener of today's workshop, all the dignitaries present online and offline in the today's event, and all the organizing team of the today's workshop, and dear audience, very good morning to each and everyone. So thank you for providing me this opportunity to share my views on this upcoming area in agriculture. So today I have chosen this topic because this is very in limelight, and everyone is now interested to uh, replace the traditional ongoing practices of using conventional chemical fertilizers in bulk quantities, and also the health consciousness and food quality and safety issues and concerns of the consumers and the all the public is an important thing that we researchers on our part should be focused, and our research effort should be directed in this direction only. So again, we are linking this nano fertilizer impact with the sustainable agriculture. So sustainability means live and let live, means we are not alone the human being in this world, this earth, that we should think of ourselves only, but there are other biodiversity, each and everyone, even our environment and all the ecological things present here in around us, we should preserve them, take care of that only. So whatever progress science and technology is pacing up, that should be, and that should not be at the cost of losing the other things. So that is the main motive of the sustainable agriculture. So let us proceed. So what is the present trend in agriculture actually? And agriculture, is the backbone of economy of a country. So we should know what is the present scenario actually, what is the trend at present. So the trend is that we are following all the conventional things, that there is the quite burst in the population. We are now leading in the world. Even we are leaving behind the China. So more people, more population means the need to feed them. The responsibility to feed them is also on our shoulder. We are the grower or to the whole the people of the or the our population, and this ultimately is pushing us the need for the production, to increase the production. So farms, they required to produce more now. And another thing is that there are other factors, like there is increasing in the urbanization, means more people are now focused towards the urban things, urbanization, and leaving behind the conventional farming practices and other things. So apart from that, there are widespread ecological impacts also. So that is the important thing, that these are the trends which are presently we are facing. Now, all these things are slowly and slowly having negative impacts on our environment. And these negative impacts, now each and everyone is watching around us. We are feeling them, and even we are watching them with our eyes, and we can predict them for our future generations also, that how severity of these negative impacts could be for them. For example, now in environment changes, we are looking at the climate change, and that is because of all these listed reasons. There are habitat destructions we have caused, deforestation, water, air, soil, everything is polluted now, and the reduced biodiversity because of the advancement of in various areas, but at the cost of all these damages to our environment. Then there is a problem of soil quality also. That is because of the desalinization, desertification, and the most important, that is the decline in the water resources. We are now suggesting, we are advising our farmers to grow crops which need less water, or we are focusing our research efforts towards more water use efficiency, because this is the most precious and valuable resource on earth, water. So all these are the damages which have occurred to our environment. Then these have human impacts. No doubt, these are having human impacts. Farmland destruction has been caused due to the urbanization. Soil fertility is reduced. And the most important impact is that we are not able to get a nutritious food, even at the cost of any value. So all these things are leading us to focus or look upon our research efforts towards the sustainable agriculture. So whatever we are doing in science, that should ultimately be related with the sustainable, which should ensure our efforts at the sustainable agriculture to prevent, to correct these problems. So ultimately, if we want to better understand what is sustainable agriculture, so sustainable agriculture has been defined as an integrated system in which there are plants, animals, all the production practices, and there is site-specific application, not generalization, that whatever you develop today and for one particular place will be generalized and applicable to each and every place. So it should have some motives, some aim, some objectives, that is to satisfy human food and fiber needs, enhance environment quality and natural resources, and make the most efficient use of non-renewable resources, own farm resources, and should look upon the natural biological cycles and the controls also. So it should overall, the sustainable agriculture should motivate enhancing the quality and life of farmers and society as a whole ultimately. So this is the ultimate goal of the sustainable agriculture. Then in overall, in a general layman view, we should know that sustainable agriculture is nothing but a cumulative integration of environmental health, our economic profitability, and social and economic equity also. That health of each and every person in the around us is equally important. The grower, the consumer, and the whole supply chain people associated with it, they all are important. So it should be promote the well-being of farmers and also the local communities, not the particular target of the or the target people only. So this is the main our the sustainability. Now in sustainable agriculture, in sustainable agriculture, there are many technologies that are assisting that are integrated with the sustainability. But now we are focusing on the nanotechnology, which is already an important and steering technology in various fields. It has already established its milestones. Now in agriculture, it is playing different roles in different sectors. Now, we are hearing the term nanobiotechnology in hydroponics also, nanotoxicology, in livestock also, various type of sensors, their needs, their predictions of their diseases, our general agriculture in plants in the field, we can know about the various type of stresses the plants have, and we have various type of nano herbicides, nano pesticides, nano agrochemicals, which are generally used for the disease resistance or target applications in the field in general agriculture also. So there are various nano related sectors which are now introduced in the agriculture also. So the conventional practices, what our farmer or we are doing at present is about 40 to 70% of the nitrogen, phosphorus, and other agrochemicals like potassium. Major micro, instead of this macro nutrients we are talking about, in the terms of fertilizers, we apply them as chemical agrochemicals. So while spraying and using them for the crop improvement and crop growth, they are being lost in the environment. So there is a spray drift ultimately or leaching into the water resources, due to which they are being lost in the environment and causing harmful health hazards and also the economic losses. This is already reported by various studies and agencies. So this is what is present scenario. Now, if this continues to be like that only, so this problem will be so severe and intensify that by the coming decades, or say by 2050, when we have to feed the population of over 9 billion, the problem will be a complete giant problem. So we can think of what will happen then. Our future generations will face such type of issues. Already the diseases are so severe that we need to be so focused towards devising various type of vaccines, various type of medicines to deal upon them. So in that sense, the developing countries, and the researchers in developing countries, on their shoulders, we have the responsibility to adopt more advanced technologies, labor-saving practices and methods, so that we can provide farmers some technologies to replace the conventional practices. So we can see that overdosing is another issue of the chemical fertilizers, because we do not know that how much fertilizer is exactly precisely required or effective for the crop growth in the field, or how much herbicide is required, or how much pesticide or the insecticide, nano insecticide or pesticide is required to protect our crop from the diseases and pest infestation. We are using it in bulk, in packets and packets we are delivering in the field. Because of that, actually, there are different type of environmental hazards like eutrophication, algal growth. That is, we are not the only creatures that are affected, but the water bodies which are dependent upon the oxygen supply is also hampered for the aquaculture and the other organisms in the sea, or our other water resources, rivers. Apart from that, this excess of the chemical fertilizers, for example, the nitrogen volatilization also releases the nitrous oxides, then again add on to the global warming. And apart from that, if there is excess of nitrogen or nitrate fertilizers which are being used in the fields, what they causes is they gets accumulated in the food and vegetables which are being grown in the field. And again, nitrate toxicity comes. We have worked in nitrate toxicity also. I will just come to later on that how nitrate toxicity in leafy vegetables, green leafy vegetables, can be hazardous for health. So these are the problems that are being caused due to the excess of the use of the fertilizers. So there is need to use such type of fertilizers precisely that wherever they are required, there only they deliver their results, their output. So this is the need or the research gap that I want to highlight, that is because of which the role of nano fertilizers is coming. So now comes these were the issues and the research gaps. Now nano fertilizer term is coming. So what is a nano fertilizer actually? Now we know nano fertilizer is a product that is made up of nanoparticles, as it consists of a term nano. So nano fertilizer comes with the nanoparticles or using nanotechnology to improve the nutrient use efficiency. Whatever macronutrient or micronutrient we are supplying to plants, fields, crops, our ultimate product. So those nutrients which are supplied in precise calculated amount, they should be used efficiently to the optimum level. That is the main purpose of the nano fertilizer. Now for that purpose, there can be different type of nano fertilizers. Say nanoscale fertilizers, means nanoparticles which contain nutrients, means fertilizers have been reduced to nanoscale. Then nanoscale additives, means traditional fertilizers are there, but they have some component of nanoscale added to them. Another variation of nano fertilizer can be nanoscale coating. Means there are traditional fertilizers, but they have been coated or loaded with some nanoparticles to increase their efficiency in the field for optimal efficiency. So there can be different variants of nano fertilizer. Now, what are various characteristics of nano fertilizers? Now, the most important characteristics is in nano field when we go from their bulk counterparts, that they are efficient because of higher surface area to volume size ratio. That is the most important characteristics of nano fertilizers, because of which they have good absorption and higher availability wherever they have been applied. So because of the nano fertilizers dimension, one of the dimension restricted in the nano scale below 100 nanometer, it is better helping it to be getting better uptake from soil or leaves. So it is resulting in more photosynthetic rates and more biomass availability in healthy crops. Then another important characteristics of nano fertilizers is the terms of applications, means they are applied in small quantity, in precision. Another thing is that after applying, they are slowly released, slowly and effectively released. Because of this, because they are required in small quantity, so need to be transported less. So reduction in transportation and application cost also. They are not used in bulks, loads of quantities. So this is how they have peculiar characteristics as compared to their other chemical fertilizers. So because of their slow release nature and effective and precision application, they satisfy the crop nutrient requirements and increase the bioavailability of nutrients. So for that, many times we also use nano fertilizers or nano biofortification also for increase the nutritional quality of our final food product also. So nano fertilizers, now when applied in field, can be operated in different modes. For example, they can be slow release, they can be designed or fabricated to produce the results or make the availability of nutrients they are targeted at over a period of time, so that after at that stage, crop growth stage, the nutrients will be available to the crop. Or at that crop stage, when there is chances of more pest infestation on the crop, they will be released. So this is how they are time scheduled. Quick release means if they are required to be released quickly. So in that way, they are designed that the outermost shell breaks easily and quick release of the nutrient is targeted on the into the soil. If there can be different type of applications of nano fertilizers, either foliar, which is sprayed from the leaves, or they can be through the soil uptake also. Then there can be specific release also. Suppose there are weeds also and our main food crop also in the field. If we spray the nano insecticide or pesticide or herbicide, and if we target each and every crop, we will be at loss in our crop also. And if we want to target the herbicide or weedicide, so it will not distinguish, but we can do it using our nano herbicide or pesticides. So specific release mean target at specific weeds or herbicide only. Moisture release, if it can be designed to release only in presence of some water molecules, so better efficiency. Then heat release. There can be a condition that at that particular temperature only nanoparticle get released. Now these can be very helpful in case of our crops at heat stress in the increasing temperature in the climate stress conditions. That when there is increase in temperature and our plants comes in the heat stress, then at time to reduce that effect, there is release of that particular nanoparticle. We can do that. pH release also. So likewise, in particular alkaline or acidic condition, the slow release of the nanofertilizer can be targeted. So there can be different mode of operation of the nanofertilizers. That means they can work in different conditions. We can fabricate or design them like that to be released in that way. So what do we expect actually? Why to use nanofertilizers? What they are going to do? A farmer may ask, what will happen if I use this? So these are the most specific expectations that a nanofertilizer is expected to produce or give the results. Nutrient loading capacity to the crop or nutrient availability is more. Nutrient release rate is more. Nutrient use efficiency is more. Whatever is being given, it is maximally utilized. Ultimately results in crop quality and productivity. And finally, results into environmental compatibility, preservation, and the economic feasibility also. These are the most obvious evident results of using nanofertilizers. So if we see to the conventional and traditional fertilizer and nanofertilizer differences, so there are many aspects where we can compare them. Like the most important thing is that their dispersion and solubility is better in case of nano fertilizer and absorption as compared to traditional fertilizers. Nutrient uptake efficiency also is better, about 50 to 70%, as the research reports suggest, various reported studies, as compared to in traditional fertilizer where it is 20 to 50% only. Now, we can do the nano encapsulation based controlled release mode also. But that type of facility we do not get in traditional fertilizers. So because of that, they cause more toxicity and ecological problems in soil. There are microbial community that is very useful for our farmers and crops in the soil also, but they will be at harm and it can be toxic to them if they are released in very high quantity or these type of chemicals are there in high quantity. Then effective duration of nutrient release. So we can extend the nutrient release duration more in nano fertilizer as compared to traditional fertilizers. That is what we have talked about, the characteristics of slow release nutrient in case of nano fertilizers. Then loss rate of nutrients in applied fertilizers. So leaching type of losses, leaching to water resources from soil like that, or spray drift, the harm to the applicator or the farmer is less in case of nano fertilizer as compared to the traditional fertilizers. So this is where the nano fertilizers are gaining popularity as compared to traditional fertilizers. Now, is nano fertilizer really important worldwide? It is gaining already there. Yes. So if we look at the nano fertilizers market from recently 24 to 2031, it is expected to rise continuously from about $3,500 million to about $10,000 million. And there are already some key players, some main nano fertilizer market players are there, which are listed here. And the one we know already, the IFCO, which is already have launched its nano fertilizer in the liquid form also, and nano DAP also now has come. So there are already some advancements in this area and already going on, and in future it will be advanced and more gain popularity in this same sector. So this is the same thing that globally, if we look at, so there are many countries like North America is the leading one. And by method of application, if we see, there can be foliar or soil application methods are there. And now these are also advancing. And by raw material wise means nitrogen and other type of macro and micronutrients, both are now being uh, these are being sprayed or utilized in the field in the nano form now. So this is just the overview of the market that in this sector exists and how it is advancing. Now, this is a tabulated list of that how globally advancement has taken in this area, in this field. If you look at, there are various products that are already being commercialized, and the various companies globally, like in USA, NPK fertilizer is there, which is a blend of actually microbes also, and nano silver also is there. So these type of products are by the Earth Agriculture in USA. It is already being used, and there is a biodegradable formulation in the name of Nano Green that is developed by Nano Green Sciences USA. Likewise, Canada has contributed for NutriBricks. So globally, out of the India, there are many commercialization success stories there. They are using it. Then there are nano fertilizer products which are ready for launch in the market. For example, Terry products are there, which are already tried, but they are ready for launch in the market. So now we are coming towards the Indian scenario also. Again, IFCO has launched nano urea. Then there are other products also which are under field trials. And based upon their performance, they will be further then advancing, like nano nitrogen, nano zinc, nano copper. So now contribution are being opened in the area of micro and macronutrients both to supply them to the crops. So researches are going on in this area, not only research, but now it is at the field trials based level also. And then also nano NPK, nano sulfur, nano magnesium. That's what I'm talking of, that micronutrients also being targeted now to be delivered in the nano form, so that plants nutrient stresses or problems can be timely dealt with, and we can have proper management practices. Now, in the Indian market, what are the products, nano fertilizer products that are clearly available now in the this? In Hyderabad now, Pratishtha Industries Limited has contributed for these products. Then in Tamil Nadu, there is a Tropical Agro System Private Limited. And so there are different companies that are contributing towards the now. They have some plants to fabricate them and produce the nano fertilizers, nano nutrients for use in the field. So they are there. Their efficiency, and that we will talk about later on, that how much or what points we need to take care of while dealing with the nano fertilizers, nano chemicals in the field, in the food. And so those guidelines are now are already established by Government of India and the concerned agencies. We should always take care of those guidelines that we will see just. Yes. So nano fertilizers are synthesized. Now we will come to the that how they are synthesized. So there are different approaches for synthesis of the nano fertilizers. There can be chemical synthesis, top down or bottom up approaches are there. And also there are some green synthesis methods also, which are plant product based methods. So just we will see to them also. So another approach is that production of nano fertilizers by encapsulation of fertilizers. That can be done in different ways, like it is nano, that nutrient we want to deliver in field can be encapsulated under some nanoporous material or coated with some polymer film or delivered as particle or emulsion form. So they can be different type of delivery system of the nanoparticles. Now, what we at ICR or IRI are doing in this area, there are many fields in which we are working in as a researcher. Now, this is one of the story we are just discussing, that zinc nano biofortification, which enhances the wheat productivity and biofortification. So in wheat, we have done some field trials, and zinc deficiency we want to, or zinc availability we want to improve upon in the quality of the final wheat we are getting as a cereal crop, cereal available for the consumers. So for that, zinc oxide nanoparticles have been effectively used and tried as a replacement for the zinc sulfate that is being conventionally applied to the crop in the field. And the results we are getting is that the seedlings which have been grown under the zinc oxide nanoparticles applications were found to be more effectively having more root length, root dynamics, and root growth, along with the proper shoot length and seedling, as compared to the conventional application of the zinc sulfate fertilizers. So this is what we are doing at the IRI field. One of the scenario I have discussed. There are many studies going on. Another case study and success story, ICR Institute, CIRCOT, Central Research Institute for Cotton. Their nanofertilizer technology is, they are advancing in this area. Now they have done various field experiments in which, like they have enhanced, they are reporting enhanced yield and biomass of brinjal crop actually under the application of nano zinc. So this is what we can see, that this as compared to the conventional application and no fertilizer application, that how yield and biomass is getting improved. And this is a nano pilot plant also they have established with the funding support from Government of India for the production of nanomaterials, which is now operational in Mumbai. And this pilot plant is actually first of its kind in India, which was established using in-house technology. So for the proper production of the nano zinc at that level, to make it available for utilizing by the farmers or the other end users. Now, in IRI, we are also working on the fabrication and design of various type of nanoparticles. Those nanoparticles of macronutrients, micronutrients to be supplied in the field, in the crop, in agriculture. So there are different approaches, top down and bottom up approach. Both have different type of methods. For example, ball milling method is there. Then there are chemical treatment methods are there. Thermal methods are there, sputtering. Bottom-up approach is also, everyone is aware of these various chemical methods in which we can do various type of chemical synthesis. But as we know that these are already using lots of chemical uh, things in the during the synthesis process, and also the waste synthesis that or waste products from the synthesis, they are released as it is in the environment, and they are thus very toxic, and somehow they are contributing to the environmental pollution. So to replace these methods, another synthesis method that I want to discuss for the nanofertilizer synthesis or nanoparticle synthesis or nanocomposite synthesis is green synthesis. In the green synthesis approach, we generally use some food products residues, food components, or plant extracts, even the stump or the residues of the field also, and bacteria or fungus, any microorganism also. So using them, we replace some of the reducing agents, which are contributing towards conversion of our bulk chemicals into the nanoparticles. So some of the chemicals which are very hazardous, we can replace using green synthesis methods. Because in we are using this green word because these are reducing the chemicals, hence toxicity, and also thus helping in the environmental preservation. Now, the main logic behind this synthesis approach is that whatever chemical reducing agents we are using in conventional chemical synthesis, that role is being played by our phytochemicals that are present in plant waste or plant products or residues. Flavonoids are there, and then many antioxidants are there. They can be contributing towards the reducing the metals to the nanoform. So these are thus comparatively less toxic. And here on the presentation, I have shown some of the work we are doing at IRI that we have done, like using corn silk base, because corn silk is also, you can say, is very useful, which has lots of phytochemicals and nutrients, and they are useful for various type of other food products also. But we have used it for synthesis of nanoparticles. And in this study, actually, what we have done is we have replaced hydrazine, which is a very toxic chemical, which is used in the reducing of this graphene oxide to reduced graphene oxide. So during that process, hydrazine was used generally, conventionally. But instead of hydrazine, we have used corn silk extract. So that's why using that method only, we have could have accomplished the green synthesis of reduced graphene oxide that we later used for biosensor, nanobiosensor purpose. Likewise, there are other plant products also, like leaves, then fruits, seeds, even the stump and the roots. So there are many, and the pulp. So all those parts, based upon the nutrient analysis or phytochemicals available with them, we can replace with the chemicals we can replace with those phytochemicals or those plant products. So this is very emerging area, green synthesis of the nanofertilizers. That's why I discussed it. Then is why talking of the while talking of the nano fertilizers, we should also understand that they are very precise. Precision agriculture is there of one term, where all the efforts and methods and techniques we are using in agriculture are highly precise in their mode of application, in their mode of everything. Means right amount of quantity applied at right amount of place. That is our precision agriculture, to be in simple terms. And that is what the nano fertilizers are doing. So they are highly contributing towards precision agriculture. Now, to know where to apply the nano fertilizer and in what quantity to apply, or nano pesticide or nano herbicide, whatever nano formulation we want to apply, we should know, we should detect actually that detection is done by the nano biosensors. So this is an integrated system actually. That nano biosensors are also installed in the field, in the systems where we are targeting at some nano application. So they are giving some signals that this is the quantity, this is the red alert in this area, and you apply. Either some robotic arm is there that goes and does its job, and or some drone is there that is applying precisely at that location, that area only. So nano biosensors are also an important component associated or should be associated with the nano fertilizer application. So in this area, I would like to say, for one example or story, success story or research work done component, I would like to discuss, not in detail, but a brief of that. That nitrate, we know, is very much required in crops. And because as we know in now at present that nitrogen fertilizers we are applying. Now, when nitrogen fertilizers we are applying in bulk, because till now still nano nitrate or application needs to be steered up to that level that it replaces the conventional bulk quantity application. That excess of nitrogen comes to our food products also. And most importantly, in mostly in the our green leafy vegetables, spinach is there, for example. So in that actually, if we human consume them, not only human, but if there is feed also for stray animals and our other animals, dairy animals also, in their feed also, if nitrate is in excess, it is really very lethal for them. It is associated, nitrate excess or toxicity is associated with various type of diseases, cancerous diseases. One of the human reported disease is the blue baby syndrome. In simple terms, methanoglobenia, which we call as, that is associated with that. So this needs to be tackled. That can be done at the root level only. That we detect the right need of the nitrate content in the crop. Accordingly, we will apply in the soil or foliar application. And that detection is done by nanosensor, nanobiosensor, or any other detection device. But as compared to other detection device, nanobiosensor is more precise, accurate, and specific. Accordingly, it will guide what quantity, where to apply, and then the nano fertilizer will do its job, either by drone or by robotic arm, whatever can be integrated as a whole, as a system. So here in the first component, we are highlighting the problem that excess of nitrate is a problem. It is associated with various health hazards. So whatever seems to be now need of our body, when it goes in excess, can be a dangerous giant hazard for us. So for detection of nitrate, like we have done green synthesis of some nanomaterial in the second component that has been shown. And in the third major block, it is shown how nano biosensor was fabricated, designed to detect the nitrate in the soil extract. And also in the leafy vegetables, real sample analysis was also conducted. So this is the glimpses of nano biosensor. That is also an important component that should be integrated with the nano fertilizer application. That it will tell, it is the doctor, it will tell this is to be done, this is to be taken. and then the applicator, and then that is done by the another field, that is the nano fertilizer. That excess or that deficiency will be dealt by the that field. Another area in the this nano biosensor is the we have done some work in the food quality and safety assessment also, because when we are talking about application in the field, in the crop, on the food, on the fruits and vegetables, spray applications of the pesticides, chemicals, weedicides and all, then we should know various type of chemical residues or various type of potential adulterations knowingly or unknowingly being entered in our food supply chain that can harm our body, or that can get accumulated in our body. So in this direction, formaldehyde nanobiosensor we have worked upon. We have explored some studies in this area. And in packaged food and some of the fruits and vegetables, we have detected formaldehyde using the nanoparticles based, synthesized nanoparticles based nanobiosensor. This is one of the work component that we have already done. Then again, we come to our main platform of the nano fertilizer, come back. Now in nano fertilizer mechanism in soil and plants. Now we comes to the application part. What happens when we are putting it them to the field? As we have discussed that the nanoscale interaction of these fertilizers with the soil and plants, that should be unlocked actually. That mechanism should be unlocked. That is the main thing that is left to be unexplored. How nanofertilizers passes through the plants from leaves to the soil, through the vascular tissues, or from soil to the this leaf, how it is uptaken. Is it somehow in quantity wise is harming plant, doing some advantage to plants, getting accumulated in the plant? What is the long-term studies? So that type of mechanisms should be studied so that we can finally conclude upon the supporting plant growth and crop production because of these nanofertilizers. Now, if we try to understand the mode of action, that how they work actually. So a small pictorial representation indicates that there is foliar entry or root entry. Can be two ways they can be applied, at presently being applied. Now, during the foliar entry, they will travel through various passages, cuticle, the topmost upper surface, then stomata. They will cross through the lenticels, and this way they will pass through xylem, phloem, and then whole plant will be then they will be advancing through these channels. When we talk about root entry system, they will be captured from the root tips, then lateral roots, root hairs, or means different modes they will be traveling and uptaken, and they will be then finally distributed in the whole plant system. Then size exclusion limits are there. Means it is not that all type of nanoparticles of all size, shape, they can easily and the same way they will be treated equally by each of the component of our plant system. Cell wall has its own penetration size, passages. Extracellular spaces are also have limited passages or size that they can restrict the entry of the nanoparticles of that much size only. So that also means these parameters we need to take care of while fabricating nanoparticles for application to the plants. That what passage they have to follow, they will follow, and where they will be then reaching and targeting the plant. So this is how they are working, they are acting. The same thing that in soil application, how they are uh, working or benefiting the ultimately the plant. Now, another term that is gaining now very popularity is key term engineered nanomaterials. Now, in nanofertilizers also, we talk about like natural nanomaterials or synthetic, these engineered nanomaterials. What are these nanomaterials actually? So, engineered means we, as per our need or target application or requirement, we do something with the nanomaterials, we design them, we fabricate them, give some specific charge, we attach them with some other nanoparticle, that is, say we say some nanocomposite or hybrid nano assembly, or we give or design them in a particular shape. 3D dimension we design them. Now, this is all we are doing for to attain the maximum efficiency or maximum utilization purpose, that they will be maximally absorbed or delivered to the target system. That's why there are now different type of nanomaterials, engineered nanomaterials that are being used. Spherical, triangular, prism shaped, then star shaped, or nano flowers, and trapezoidal shape. So there are many different type of shapes that have their own efficiency and target delivery systems that they are best utilized for. Accordingly, we need to modify our synthesis methods under controlled conditions for those applications. Then composition also, we have some metal oxide with the organic or inorganic nanocomposites. We combine different type of nanomaterials to form nano hybrid assemblies so that properties of both type of nanomaterials can be simultaneously utilized for the target application. We design them for our target size, as I discussed, that what route it has to follow or passage it has to follow in the plant, in the vessels or the pathways, intercellular region. Accordingly, the size limit is there. So accordingly, we need to take care of the size we are designing for that nano pesticide, nano insecticide, or whatever nano herbicide we are targeting. So this is what the specific things, specific characteristics of nanofertilizers that we should target at, or we should design before launching it in a final product form for its better efficiency. Then it is again nutrient release mechanism of nanofertilizer. Means how actually a nanofertilizer is releasing nutrients. We are talking so much that it is better than conventional and it is doing differently things as compared to that. But how it is actually taking place? So this release of nutrient by a fertilizer actually is proposed to be taking place in 3 stages. So these stages, we say one is a lag phase, a constant release phase, and a decay period. We can categorize in 3 ways. Now, in the first phase, fertilizer granules are actually in contact with water. And this water penetrates through the outer core of granules and start dissolving a fraction of fertilizer. This is how it has started working initially. So water started dissolving fertilizer granules. So it is the first phase. In the second phase, actually, water starts penetrating inside the granule and establishes some equilibrium between water and fertilizer solute. So in this stage, there are many surrounding parameters that could damage the coating and develop cracks. Means this is what in the second phase it is taking place. You can see in pictorially also the second phase C component. So means cracks developed means started leaking or releasing the nutrients. In the decay phase, the diffusion of fertilizer happens. Internal core also started dissolving continuously. and with a flux of water into the, means now water is not just penetrating, but it is the whole diffusion or flux of water into the granule. So complete diffusion of fertilizer granule, it will leave this incomplete. So this is how it is taking place. So graphically, this release of nutrients can be pictorially understood in a sigmoidal graph form, that how release of nutrients from granule of a fertilizer is taking place. We can see with the passage of time, the initial phase, which was the lag phase, release of nutrient has almost not taken place. The water is just started dissolving the outer surface of the that granule. But in the second part of the graph, you see constant release, not burst release, but constant release has started taking. So the release of nutrient has started taking place. In the third phase, almost burst of the water in the core, and core also dissolves, and there is complete diffusion of the nutrients. So this red sigmoidal curve is the actual slow release mechanism that we are boasting of in case of nano fertilizer, that it is slow release, slow release. This is what actually is taking place. So this is not at what time, but in a phase manner. That's why it is slow release mechanism. Now, nanomaterials, as we have seen, that they have when applied through the foliar application, that how they are moving in the plant, that is depicted by this slide. That suppose we have some in the A part, some nanoparticles in different designs, different shapes, different type of composites form. So when in the B part, there can be two mode of applying them, either foliar spray or by irrigation through the roots. Now, when you talk about these, say, plant uptake and move to the third part, how they move through the plant now, when they have been applied, after that, how they move through the plant. There can be two ways, two pathways actually we talk about in plant sciences. There is apoplastic pathway and symplastic. This dotted line, actually, red line, shows the symplastic, called the symplastic pathway. Means through these cells, intracellular. And that dark line, complete red line indicates the apoplastic pathway, means through the intracellular region, between the cells, intracellular. So there are two mechanisms, two pathways that is being followed by nanoparticles, nanopesticides, nanofertilizers, when they have been uptaken by plants, and when they move through the intracellular or intercellular region in the plant. This mechanism everyone should need to be understand, because this is not more of a superficial phenomena, applying or using nanoparticles wherever you are doing it. But this is more to be understood at the nano level, at the microscopic level. What long-lasting effect they are having on us, on plants, on animals, on the whole environment. So that is the most concerned thing that we should take care of. So, and when we talk about more in-depth phenomena, that when they penetrate into plant cell, what happens actually? How and what pathway it is following? We can see that there are several mechanisms which are being proposed for internalization of nanoparticles in the cells. In the picture, last picture, D part, we can see there can be endocytosis mechanism. There can be some pore formation, that some pore get formed in the cell wall and they just slip into inside the cell. They crosses it. They can be mediated by carrier protein. They bind to some carrier protein and just flip over the other side. They pass, they cross it, the cell, plasma membrane. Or plasmodesmata through the some channels in the plasma membrane. They get a route. So this depends upon what type of nanoparticles, what size, what dimension you have, and what passage they are following accordingly. So this all type of mechanism we need to study in depth before we are applying them in the field. So for that, ultimately, we need to have very sophisticated instrumentation also. Because it is not we that we are thinking of our toxicity for ourselves only. Plants ultimately are the food source for us. If their production, their growth is affected, means we are affected. So that should be the main concern. That's why we need to study all this type of movement of the nanoparticles, their pathways moving inside, their uptake in the whole cellular and intracellular region. That should be understood. Another important, apart from growth and development of the nano plants by the nano fertilizers, they provide enhanced stress tolerance in plants actually. Drought resistance, then temperature resilience, and pest and disease resistance. These are some applications or benefits of our new formulations, that is nano pesticides or nano fertilizers. Because now, because of the climate change, our agriculture is usually affected because of that. And ultimately, the food, ultimately, we people, the price hike and everything for the food commodities. So if plant health is not ensured, means we are not ensured. Not only the production, but the nutrient security, nutrient availability in the food is also an important thing. So all these are affected because of the stress in the plants, in the crops. And that stress is because of this rising temperatures and coming different type of variations in the climate. So now nano fertilizers are found to be, as reported in reported studies, we could go through them, that how they are proved to be better, providing drought resistance wherever drought situations are there, temperature resilience to the plants by helping them to modify their biochemistry or plant physiology so that they can bear the cold or heat stress. Likewise, some pest and disease resistance also develops in them. How it is actually taking place, how using nano fertilizers helping plants to fight against or mitigation of this stress. Even we are affected because of this changing weather and climate. So plants are also under stress. So we need to give them, we need to protect them. Ultimately, nano fertilizers are causing or providing these our plants some benefits because of which they are fighting against the stresses. What they are doing is they decrease the generation of reactive oxygen species. Oxidative stress they are reducing. They increase the enzyme activities actually. They reduce they activate some specific genes. They are found to be in research studies. They are found to be benefiting plants in this manner. They enhance the photosynthetic pigment. They promote the water and nutrient uptake. They are found to be regulating plant hormones also. Because whenever plant is in stress, their hormone level gets disturbed. Ultimately, their growth, their final produce and food, everything is then affected. They decrease the plasma membrane damage. And ultimately, the chlorophyll degradation is reduced. So these are all advantages, benefits that are provided by using nano fertilizers, and they help in mitigation of the stress on the plants. So these are all benefits that nano fertilizers, apart from only growth and development, providing the macro and micronutrient. Nutrient availability is not the only target, but there are many other benefits of it. Now, how microbial interactions and soil health is affected by nano fertilizers? Because these are all components of sustainable agriculture. Nano fertilizers actually can stimulate the activity of beneficial microorganisms, and they enhance the cycling of nutrients, and ultimately the soil fertility is ensured or improved. Now, some of the nano materials, they are found to be interacting with soil particles, and they form some soil aggregates. So some type of soil structures are formed which are better to retain water, holding capacity is increased for the soil, and air movement is improved. So that way they are affecting the soil structure also. It is also found to be good that nanofertilizers influence the complex, symbiotic, and productive ecosystems which are present in soil. So they foster more and more symbiosis and productive ecosystems in the soil. So ultimately, this is leading to the reduced environmental impact, improve yield and quality. As we have seen, not only the yield, but quality is improved. And finally, the economic potential is improved. Now, what in future we should see? This is the present scenario. What is the market available? What is being done in the research and field experiments? What is the science behind this mode of action? And now, what is the future outlook and research directions? Now, we should first of all focus now on the precision farming. Means, as I discussed earlier also, that integration of nano fertilizers with very advanced precision farming, such as sensors and drones, that can enable more real-time monitoring and nutrient management. So nano fertilizers stand alone, we should not talk, but in an integrated system that could means be a part of the precision farming, we should talk about this. Multifunctional nanomaterials means till now we are saying nano zinc, nano potassium, nano phosphorus, like that. But now time has come, we should talk about multifunctional nanomaterials. One nanomaterial and it should do multifunction. It should play multi roles. Apart from delivering nutrients, enhance stress tolerance, promote beneficial soil plant microbe interactions, and everything it should do, that is holistic approach to sustainable agriculture. So that is the time has come that we should target or fabricate such type of multifunctional nanomaterials. Then, and the most important thing is regulatory framework. Using nano fertilizers is expanding, but responsibility on the researchers, government organizations, regulatory bodies to establish robust regulatory framework and safety guidelines. That is really very crucial for sustainable application in the agriculture. So these are the all important areas we should have a future outlook, and our research direction should be aligned accordingly. Then some of the presently gaining popularity, some areas that are upcoming, I would like to discuss. One is the bio nano fertilizers. Now in bio nano fertilizers means another key term of the nano fertilizer is that it's a type of fertilizer that contains some living organisms. Some formulation is there, and that is some nanoparticles are encapsulated, combined with them, integrated. And that nano biofertilizer is found to be very helpful in agriculture for various multifunctions that I just discussed. Now, multifunctional nanomaterials is the future outlook now. So this has already started work in this direction. That one term is the bio-nano fertilizer. So it is not doing one job only, providing some nutrient, but it is also helping in multi ways: disease and pest resistance, targeted delivery, enhancing growth and yield, improving soil fertility and health. So it is multifunctional nano fertilizers now. And another upcoming things and that are already in practice recently, drone AI. Now, from where now drone has come? Nano fertilizer is just not to be done on manual spray, but now it has to be integrated with drone. And even with the artificial intelligence, some smart apps. What I said is the precision agriculture time is coming now. So IFCO has integrated these technology, has initiated doing this, and some more agencies will come in future. Some research studies are already going on in various governmental and private sector organizations, that we will provide farmers and consumers and the end users the combined technology that will deliver the precise quantity of the fertilizer at the precise place at the right time. So accordingly, more and more efficient nutrient use efficiency will be there, and that could be lead to the better production with nutrient security and economic sustainability. Ultimately, these all will lead to our sustainable agriculture. So there are some of these success stories in limelight in news I just highlighted before you. So now we have discussed everything with the nanomaterials. They are good things. One side of that, the coin, that these are useful for this, everything, how they are fabricated, how they should be designed in future, what is coming, what we should do. But another side of the coin is environmental safety considerations that we should also take care of. So with the advancement of science and technology, another responsibility on us comes the environmental sustainability. So environment, health and safety should also be taken care of. In this, actually, what safety guidelines should be there? First of all, human exposure. Whatever agriculture workers are there or people living in the near farmlands, they may be exposed to their farm, suppose nano fertilizer during application. So for that, proper safety guidelines, clothing, equipment should be there. That type of thing should be ensured to minimize the human exposure. So exposure should be protected in this way. Then toxicity. If there is somehow unknowingly or knowingly some direct contact or indirect consumption took place through contaminated crops. So for that, some proper, because to avoid such adverse health effects, we should do some careful studies that how to avoid such health hazards. What instantly step we should take in that case if we are affected or come in direct contact with such cases. Then regulation and labeling. Suppose we are provided with some nano formulation that go and use in field and go and use on this product, you will get this type of benefits and that type of production strategy it will be leading to. But whatever product you are having, you are provided, it should have clear regulation, labeling requirement for nano fertilizers. That is crucial actually. For better understanding, for monitoring and control, everything. Then risk assessment. Complete rigorous environmental impact assessment should be conducted before large-scale deployment of the nano formulations, nano fertilizers. So complete guide should be laid out in that way. Apart from that, what we researchers should take care of this, that life cycle analysis. It is not a one-time application that we have put it in the soil and it is just diminished and it has completely absorbed and everything has completed now. No, we should study the whole life cycle analysis from the time of application of nano fertilizer to the consumption and greenhouse emission, that what it lead to ultimately, finally up to the final end. So this should be studied, assessed for the final overall sustainability. Then safe handling and disposal also. while suppose there to prevent some accidental or exposure during transportation and application, that should also be taken care of. Proper protocols should be laid in that for that purpose. Then waste management, when we have some pilot plant production of the nano fertilizers and like that. So some containers, unused products, how we are dealing with them, that proper disposal management should be there. And last but not the least is the public awareness. We are, whatever we are putting them on the stage, what is behind the stage or the curtains, that should also be put before the public, that how these are different cautious things that should they take care, or potential risks that are associated with them for the different farmers and agriculture communities. Thank you, one and all. This is what we have to share with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you for this brief and very interesting
Can I
presentation.
stop sharing, sir?
Yeah, please.
Okay,
Donna, please
thanks.
take the photographs of the participants
Yes.
so that we can place them on our social media platforms. Thank you, ma'am. We will place this video on the as well as on our website. And I would like to request you to kindly share your presentation, which we can share it with all the participants. With
Sure,
this,
sir.
I would like to thank all the participants. Rona, can we close?
Yes, sir.
Aturji?
Any
Yes, sir.
question?
Yes, sir.